What is up, everybody, and welcome to What Makes This Play Great, where I break down a play from the Denver Nuggets playbook and explain some of the details you might have missed along the way. Tonight, we have a really good one that helped the Denver Nuggets beat the Phoenix Suns on Christmas night, and that is wide rip DHO. We've talked about rip DHO a lot in various forms. Rip meaning the back screen, DHO meaning dribble handoff. And this is a play that's been in the Nuggets playbook for quite a while. We're going to start, though, and highlight why this year having Michael Porter and Jamal Murray back, as well as the addition of KCP, a great three-point shooter, has made this an unguardable play in the Denver Nuggets playbook. They ran it last year, the year before, to various results. They got a lot of good looks. It was one of the plays they love to go to in a pinch, out of timeouts, into games. But this year, having those guys healthy and back makes it pretty much an unguardable play that Denver knows they can get a great look at almost every single time. First, let's go to the play in question. And that is, of course, the one that they ran against the Phoenix Suns. This is the fourth quarter, 3 minutes to go. And you're going to see it starts with that first screen, Jokic screening for Jamal Murray and getting him cutting to the opposite side. Then Jokic receives the pass, but here's where the play really begins. You get the back screen with Jamal Murray setting a back screen on Aaron Gordon's man. And the reason this works is if we first start looking at the floor here, you've got Michael Porter Jr. in the corner, a 45% three-point shooter who's phenomenal from the quarter. In the other corner, you've got another 45+% three-point shooter in KCP. Look how close the defense is sagged in on both of those guys. They are terrified of Jokic throwing one of those dart passes to the corner and giving up a wide open three. So what does this do? This basically makes the paint open for a 3-on-3 play, a 3-on-3 possession. Take two defenders out of the play, and you got these guys. The back screen now, you've got Jamal Murray, who's a great screener, and you've got Aaron Gordon, who's a lob threat. So teams are afraid to switch that action 1-4. If you do switch it, you've got a power forward trying to guard Jamal Murray out in the pick and roll with Jokic or out on the perimeter, and Murray's great at cooking those guys. Or you have a point guard on Aaron Gordon under the paint trying to rebound against him or guard a post up. So you don't want to switch that. And that means these two defenders who are guarding that back screen have to be on a string and communicating well. Here you're going to see Murray releases and gets open for the three. But before we watch it go in, let's just back up a little bit here and let's see the screen for Murray. He doesn't actually set it. He makes it look like he's going to set the screen and then releases, right? So that there's a slight hesitation. Look, both defenders think they have to protect against the back screen. Nobody goes with Murray, and that gives him just enough daylight to get open. And even if he misses, look at Aaron Gordon standing underneath the basket here. We'll rewind it a little bit. Aaron Gordon's underneath the basket all by himself. If the shot was off a little bit, Aaron Gordon has a great chance of getting a rebound out of it. Nothing but buckets. All right, that's the first example. Now let's go to last year's examples, and let's watch how this play has evolved for the Denver Nuggets. Last year, you got Aaron Gordon bringing it up, back screen, and now Monte Morris going. Monte can shoot this one, but it's not like Jamal Murray. It's not the same threat. But you are going to see, you get a switch out of this. Karl-Anthony Towns had to show on it. You get a switch, you go inside, Jokic scores in the post. That's pretty easy. Thanks to Jokic, everything is easy on the offensive end. Let's watch another example here. You got Monte slicing off of Jokic. Ball goes back to Jokic. Back screen. Little pick and roll. Now you're just going to run two-man game with Monte and Jokic. You get a mid-range jumper out of it. What do we get here? Ball reversal, cut off it. Back cut. You can tell the Nuggets not running these actions with quite the same level of enthusiasm. Still getting some tough buckets out of them. Let's go to this next one. What do we get? Zeke Naji in that spot. Little pick and roll. Really just becomes an opportunity of getting a pick and roll. But if you look at the corners on these, all right, you got Michael Porter in one. You got Will Barton. That's pretty good. Monte Morris for Jamal Murray. Obviously, you're losing a little something on that. But again, still able to get into your spots, and of course the safety is always get the ball back to Jokic. What do you have as your floor spacers now? Oh, now we're back to this year. So now we're looking at that floor spacing again. Two elite guys, and this is what happens more often than not. Look at how much different this is. You're not actually working for this play. Let's rewind it here. You barely have to break a sweat on this one. Look at Lou Dort is scrambling around trying to get here. Back screen, they don't want to switch that. A little bit of daylight, easy lob. Take a look at another one. By the way, I went through every example of the Nuggets out of timeouts this year, or on dead balls rather. There's another one, just so easy. And this was the make. So they've run it. I'm guessing they probably run it about 10 times. We look at it again. The defense is so worried about Jamal. They know it's a rip option. They're so worried, but nonetheless, they still go over. This next one, let's see here. This one, they actually have to work a little bit, but I love it. Let's rewind it. This one still ends up in a dunk. Like all these plays are ending up in wide open threes or dunks, but let's rewind this one to break it down frame by frame. So first thing you get is that cut. All right. Defense is following Murray. You get the back screen here. It's not like we saw in the Phoenix Suns example. Murray doesn't actually set the screen. He releases and is smart to. Murray could have taken a three here. He record scratches threes a lot for some reason. In the Suns game, he didn't, but they were down three. He knew he needed a three. In this one, he had a three-point opportunity, but for whatever reason, he wanted to go to the pick and roll. But guess what? A pick and roll with Jokic, a Murray-Jokic two-man game pick and roll is deadly. It's going to work anyway. So Murray gets into the paint, flips it over his shoulder to Jokic, who goes into his floater motion. But you've broken down the defense so bad that Jokic says, no, I don't want a 4-foot floater, which is like a 90% shot. I'll take an Aaron Gordon dunk, which is a 99.9% shot, and they get that action out of it. All right, let's look at one more here. Last example. And this one, almost a little bit different. This one running out of horns, but it's the same rip action, so just slightly different. But this is the release. This is what's nice. I wanted to include this one, even though it's slightly different, just because the worst case scenario when Denver runs this one is you get a Jokic 15-footer in the middle of the court. If your best scenario on a play features Jokic getting that shot, you know you're running something good. So there you have it. Nuggets do have this out of an Iverson series where they start with the Iverson cut, the guard coming from one side of the of one wing to the other wing, and then you get into that action. They have it out of horns, as I just showed you, but they love to run it best out of wide. That first example, the wide action using Murray as the back screener for Aaron Gordon. Deadly. My suspicion is you're going to see that play a lot in the playoffs. And in fourth quarters of close games, Denver will probably look to go to that one out of a timeout from time to time, especially if they need a three-pointer. That's it for this week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the Winners Lounge.